Hi, my name is Noel Davis, and today we're going to do an update on the African Nightcrawlers. So it's been about 12 days since our last update, and we're going to see how this bin looks. I have no idea how it looks. I haven't looked at it at all. I haven't taken off the covers, but these worms have been churning through food and material very quickly, and especially the bedding material. So we're going to see, I don't know if we need anything or not, but I think we might let them finish up with this material, and we might do a harvest on this already. So it's only been like a few months, and we're already ready for a harvest, which is just, to me, amazing. But these things are really chewing through food. They're chewing through this bedding, and this is actually the most voracious eater I've seen out of any of the worms that I've had. That goes for reds and Europeans, these being the Africans. I don't have blues. I've never tried blues. I've heard that they're a little bit more finicky as far as like trying to get out. I have not really had that issue with the reds. I'm not finding any on the floor. I did see, as I showed in a prior video, some had moved over to my pine shaving bin, which was right next to it, but I added about a 4-inch gap, and I'm not seeing that happen anymore. So they're doing really well, but let's see how they're doing right now, see if there's anything that we need to add, see if they're ready for a harvest, and go from there. So let's go and take a look. Alright, so here you go. Here's our last update on 7/27. Today is August 8th. So, and just so you can see here, I do have it labeled as my A and C bin as well. So, you just pull this back, and let's take off the bubble wrap. As I've said before, there is a gap along the side, so moisture and some air can move in and out as needed. And on the top here, not seeing any worms, but we're going to just put this off to the side right here. And let's dig in here and take a look. As I've said in the past, it really does look like they are moving through this material. There's still some cardboard on the top here, but overall they are really just digging in here to this material. And you can see they're still, I can't believe how big these worms are. I mean, look at that. Oh, let me just, you can see from the tip of my finger here, it's going to scrunch up now on me, but tip of my finger, that's a good 3.5 to 4 inches right there, that worm, you know, especially if it goes out fully. I mean, that's a really long worm. So these guys are big, these worms. But look at this, look at the material. The material's nice and rich. They look a little bit lethargic in here. You know what, let's just grab the temperature gun and take a quick look at the temperature while we're doing this here. I'm just going to look on my side real quick. 72 it looks like. See if we can get it in there. 72, 73. So not too bad. Thought it'd be a little bit cooler actually, but I think this is actually better for them to have it this temperature. I do worry about temperature in my basement because it does get cool, but it is the summer right now, so it's not as cool as it can be. But overall, I mean, you can just see there's tons of castings in here. Some of this paper is still taking a while to break down that we've added over the course of feeding, but I think we're going to stop doing that as well. We're just going to let them finish this up, I think, and let them see how they go through this. I mean, like, and these worms should be very easy to sort out as well with their size. I mean, I'm truly amazed at how large these worms are. I mean, they are just, you know, compared to the reds that I'm used to, where you can hardly see them a lot of times in a system. These worms just stick out. Now, the one thing I have heard is that the castings look a little different. I'm not seeing any, or I'm sorry, not castings, the cocoons are very different than the reds, where they're not this bright yellow color, I thought. But I've not seen any cocoons in here that I'm noticing. And I don't know if I just don't see them. I've heard that they're smaller, a little harder to find. But I'm not seeing them. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, I know that my other systems have had plenty of worms without me noticing that they're there. You can see this is a wad of paper, and they're attacking it like crazy. And let's just dig this up a little bit more. I think the center section was the last place we fed, so that might be what they're around. So you can see over here, they're pretty active too, but you can see nice big healthy worms in the area. Let's just see here. Yeah, there's a lot of them in this area. And these do have a slight bluish or like dark red tint on the top too of these worms, but no yellow tails like you'd see in the reds. And they're bigger than my Europeans by far. Let's just dig down in this corner here. You can see though, I mean, this has only been you know, a few months. I think we haven't hit 4 months yet. I got them in May. So we have May, June, July, and really I got them later in May. So it hasn't been 4 months yet, and they've turned through this material incredibly well. I mean, it really is surprising how well they've gone through this material. It feels kind of dry. I might want to add just a little bit of water to it just to moisten it up a little bit, make sure that they're okay as far as breathing. Here's another like piece of cardboard area. You know, there's a little bit of food there. It looks like it's a banana peel maybe, the end of one. Although they really did clean that out as well. The skin was taking a little longer to break down maybe. I mean, this is amazing to me how quickly they were churning through this stuff. I am thinking that I will have to put these in a larger system just so I can get more of them, because of how quickly they can turn through food, especially this cardboard, because I have a ton of cardboard in my basement, as I've said before. But you can just see, I mean, there's a lot of them in here, and they're finding this cardboard and they're working through it. So, if you have any questions about these worms, let me know. I would highly recommend them if you live in an area that has heat, that these might be the worms to go to. And I think that we'll be actually adding some of these to, I have a video that I was showing where I'm going to be doing a test to see how they go through hamster bedding that's been used. Surprisingly, I thought the Reds would win, but it looks like the European Nightcrawlers got 1 vote, but it looks like the African Nightcrawlers had, I think, 8 votes to 7 votes. So, but this material looks great. It's really close to I could probably even harvest it today and take out some of these chunks. I think we're going to let them work on it a little bit longer though, just to see if we can allow them to finish off some of this cardboard that's there. But they are really, really just chewing apart this stuff, which is just great. And then we're going to put this through the sorter, and we'll see what comes out on the other side as far as everything. Now, the one thing I think I do want to do, just moving this around a little bit, trying to get some of these paper wads away from the sides, where they're not going to get worked on because it dries out a little bit. These wads of paper here, I'm just trying to get them. These corners don't get worked in nearly as much as the center section does, I think, because of the plastic over the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to add just a little bit of water in here and mix it in a little bit more. Let me just grab I'm not going to use my sprayer this time. I'm just going to grab a little bit of water and just sort of mix it in by this paper in the center here. So just to make sure we got enough moisture in here. It's a little bit dry, but not too dry. Just a little bit to saturate the area. And actually, we can do something else a little bit different here. So that's nice and wet. There is something else that actually is a carbon-based material here, and that are sponges. So hopefully you can see that. I don't know if it's too bright on the camera, but this is a used sponge. And what we're going to do is actually, I'm going to just dig out the center section a little bit. We're going to put that sponge, and we're just going to cover it just a slight bit here with some castings, and we'll see how they go through it. So, and this will be easy to take out, even if we decide to harvest next time. Should be no problem removing that from here. But this will allow them to kind of go to that area. It'll absorb water. Actually, I should pour a little bit of water on it just to make sure it's wet. Now that I think about it, too dry, it's going to just absorb water. Let's just pour a little bit on there. There we go. That should make it nice and wet, so that way they can start consuming that. We'll see how they do with this sponge that's in here. We'll see if they can churn through it, or how much of it's left in a week, and that'll give us a kind of a benchmark to see when we try that again maybe later to see how they do with a new system. So that's my update for this week. You know, not much going on really for these systems lately. You know, as we get ready for harvests and things like that, I try to stop adding food and try to get them ready for that harvesting. Now, you can't do side to side or horizontal harvesting. I don't tend to do that. I'm not a big fan of the side to side. It's harder in these systems where you have to kind of move everything over, so I'm not as big a fan on it. But other people are, and that's great if they can get it to work. I find that it doesn't work for me very well, especially with doing things on video where I can't always acclimate to my schedule. So I'm going to take, just so you can see here, I'm going to take this date and update the date on the bottom here. Now we're going to put 8/8 right there. And there we go. There's our update for this week. And thank you for watching.